and Jalen's 2013 NBA Preview.
A team that made the 2010 conference finals, came within 2 wins of the finals. And then owner Robert Sarver said, you know what, I'm gonna get rid of the GM that built this team, Steve Kerr.
Bad move.
I'm gonna run this myself with hand-picked people who within 3 years ran the team into the ground.
I would have made sure that Steve Nash retired as a member of the Phoenix Suns if I was running that organization.
It would seem like it would be the smart thing to do since he's the most popular Sun of all time by far. The Phoenix Suns have never won the NBA title.
I hear a lot of people mumbling that they would look for a change in ownership.
That's the thing, and that's why we picked this specific clip. Robert Sarver, the Suns owner, who has done a really nice job of making this team completely irrelevant and hitting rock bottom.
You're incapable of running this shit. Sit your $5 ass down before I make change.
Kareem brought him to my attention.
We got 300 people working for us at all times. I can't keep my eye on every single one of them.
You was taking care of business
If I was
instead
what? If I was what? Say it again. What'd you say?
Nothing.
That's what I thought you said. Because that's what I got right now, nothing.
That movie is classic.
I figured you'd like it. New Jack City.
$1 million a week business. Reduce the rumbles. Ah!
We didn't show that part. So I think Robert Sarver, I hate to blaspheme Nino, but I feel like he's Nino. He's losing control of the business. You know what he has left? Nothing.
And Phoenix has had so many great players over the years. I mean, Steve Nash was a 2-time MVP. Amari was an all-star a couple of times.
They were relevant from
Sean Marion was an Olympian.
through 10.
I played my final season in Phoenix. I tried to sneak out there, Bill, and get me a championship ring. Even I was dumb enough to think that I could win the championship with Mike D'Antoni as the head coach.
I know. And you're still bitter about that. You could have played a couple more years.
Well, it actually worked out for the better.
It did?
Yeah, because when you go from being a productive double-figure scoring player to getting DNPs almost every night, I'm like, I got a second career opportunity. I'm about to chase it in the media.
Oh, that worked out.
Yes, indeed.
We never would have become friends.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Mike D'Antoni.
Appreciate it.
Let's look at what they did last summer. I love the graphic.
Me too.
See the guy, the killer in the bottom?
You know what you did last summer.
So here's what Phoenix did last summer. They made a big trade. They traded for Eric Bledsoe, and actually, I'm not a giant Eric Bledsoe fan, but I didn't mind the trade. They gave up Jared Dudley, and I forget what else, but they still have Goran Dragic.
They
So
do.
now your two best players both play the same position. You don't know if Bledsoe is definitely a point guard, but now you're all in. You traded these assets. The other guy they got in that trade was Caron Butler, who they dumped to Milwaukee. They're going to have to pay Bledsoe, what, $45 million, $50 million to keep him with an extension. And they don't know if he's a real point guard. We watched him when Chris Paul got hurt last year. He took over for the Clippers. He tried to run that offense. The team didn't do well. Now he's young, but I don't know if he's a point guard. You don't know if he's a point guard. He might not be a point guard.
Well, Phoenix has struck out here recently in dealing with point guards, period. And since it's a point guard-driven league, you hope that offensively he's able to catch up with what he's able to do defensively, because he's a very good defensive guard.
Destructive defensive player.
He can play the ball. He
Yep.
blocks shots. He's a terrific athlete. He does multiple efforts, helps the helper.
I remember going to a game last year. It was him against Russell Westbrook, and the athleticism was insane. It was almost like watching two boxers who didn't want to fight. You know, they were just at such a higher level than everyone else athletically, and you can kind of feel it. Like, oh, are they going to go head-to-head?
And for a perimeter player, especially a smaller guard, I can't think of somebody. LeBron comes to mind with the chase down blocks, but Bledsoe in
for a
blocking
short guy.
shots.
Yeah, for a short guy.
He has so many clips of him jumping up on 6'9", 6'10" guys
Yep.
and pinning their layup to the backboard. So I think he's going to continue to improve, but you talked about them being a 29th team. That roster is really suffering.
Well, the other guy they got is, in the draft, they picked Alex Len, the Maryland center who had some leg issues. You and I met him when we did our series with the lottery picks.
Yep, with our job interview.
We both liked him. I was impressed
did.
by him, and I actually liked his YouTube moves. Now, we'll see if he stays healthy, but I didn't mind that pick for them at number 5.
So for the Phoenix Suns, though, I like Marcin Gortat.
I do too. Expiring contract, by the way.
I always thought he was a productive player. I thought Orlando should never have traded him. As long as Dwight Howard was not signed, I felt at that time he was one of the best backup centers, Gortat, in the game. I would have kept him.
Why is he always on bad teams, though? That's got to mean something.
Because you make a move for a guy like that, and you're going to see if he develops to be Brook Lopez or not. and now they see that he's not necessarily an all-star caliber big, but a productive big, he's going to be a hot commodity this year.
I agree.
Look for a team to try to snatch him up. Because
Well-
if I was running a team, I'd try to snatch him up.
Let's look at the Suns' rotation. It's not horrific on paper. I mean, it's not great. They had the rich man Morris twin, the poor man's Morris twin. I can't keep the name straight. There's a good one, there's a bad one. The good one starts, the one who's not as good comes off the bench. They have 2 point guards. PJ Tucker, who's a role player. Gortat is about to get traded. Alex Len off the bench. Gerald Green, who has bounced around, that's an understatement. Archie Goodwin came out about 3 years too early. And Shannon Brown, who I've always kind of liked as an 11th man. That's not a good team, Jalen.
Note to Shannon Brown, should never have left the Los Angeles Lakers.
God, how many role players have said that, right?
You get a chance to practice with Kobe Bryant and playing in games with him, learn from him, be in L.A.,
Maybe that's why they left.
play on that platform.
Maybe he makes them feel like they're bad people.
Not at all. You much rather be playing in Laker purple and gold than playing in Phoenix. Ask Steve Nash.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Steve Nash isn't fighting to go back. Zach Lowe from Grantland has a sneaky big question for each team, and here's his sneaky big question. Who auditions well for the Suns and for the league? He thinks Bledsoe, Alex Len, and Archie Goodwin probably are the 3 guys who stay. Everybody else is auditioning either for a trade or for the chance to get playing time because they've never really proven it. Dragic and Gortat are the 2 guys who are on the trade possibility list, I think. And I like both of those guys. Cheaper contracts. Dragic is $7.5 million a year. That's somebody, a third guard off the bench in a playoff team.
Lefty,
Devastating.
He
Lefty.
scored,
You love the
finish around the
lefties.
basket. He's really become a better player than I thought he would be.
Yeah.
He's going to have a long career.
All right, Jalen. It's time. Turn the lights off.
More like a swami or a genie.
Here's my prediction, Jalen. I think Goran Dragic gets traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
That's a very nice team and a good move for OKC. Another ball
Kendrick
handler.
Perkins expires next year. Jeremy Lamb, 12th pick in the draft. And then I think you throw him Reggie Jackson, too. You get Dragic back. Now he's your third guard. You can play him in crunch time with Westbrook. I like that trade.
And more importantly, they need another player on the perimeter in particular that's going to be their third scorer.
Right.
Lose James Harden, then all of a sudden.
How are you talking seriously to me when I have this hat on?
Because I'm used to you doing crazy stuff all of the time. So they lost Harden
Right.
the year prior, and then they lost
Kevin Martin, 14
Martin to
points
Minnesota.
a game, 43%
Yes,
three-point
indeed.
shooting.
They lose him to Minnesota, so
Do you realize how much of OKC's bench is counting on Jeremy Lamb and Reggie Jackson?
they need to make moves. and
They
I
need
think
to make a
will.
move.
They
Goran
will.
Dragic, clairvoyant Bill.
They make a move.
We were talking about Goran Dragic. Our friend Kirk Goldsberry from Grantland did a little shot chart for him. As you can see, mediocre three-point shooter. Great at the basket. If you look at the little dots there, he's above average. That's what the orange means. Corner threes, not great. God, the more I look at this, maybe he's not a fit for Oklahoma City.
They need more shooting.
Right. So he's not a good enough three-pointer. I'm doing a Paul McGuire. I'm arguing with myself and recanting my own argument. Actually, Dan Dierdorf invented that. Dragic last year.
Dan did off Michigan.
I'm sorry. 14.7 points, 7.4 assists, 44% field goal. He's 5 seasons, 27 years old. He's a commodity. Would you give up Perkins and Jeremy Lamb for him?
Really, if I'm OKC from Phoenix, I'm trying to get Gortat.
Can they get both?
I'm trying to find a way
I need to go
get
back to the
Gortat.
trade machine. So that would probably have to be Perkins, Lamb, Perry Jones, Hasheem Thabeet.
You can have all of them.
You get all the $1 million dudes.
You can have everybody except Cephalosha,
And I'd have
Russell,
to,
and KD.
and would you give up your 2014 number one?
No,
Okay. But you'd give up Hasheem Thabeet.
because you can't be giving up number ones in next year's draft.
Not in next year's draft. Nobody's giving up number
Yeah, you
one.
can't be doing that.
Okay,
That get you fired before the season starts.
Are you going to tell Kevin Durant that, you've made his team worse for every 2 years, and you keep bringing in these young guys who can't play with him?
That's why we have to get Gortat. That's going to be the value of the Phoenix Suns this year.
Trade partner.
They're going to help a contending team potentially get over the top.
Now let's look at champagning and
Yeah.
Phoenix. Special to
Give
your
the
heart.
people what they want.
For every city, because Jalen refused to actually rank the cities. He just talks about his favorite part about champagne and campaigning in each city. In Phoenix, you actually played there. You spent some extended Scottsdale time.
And
You like Scottsdale.
something's very notable in that picture that I want everybody to pay attention to.
How unhappy you look sitting
When
on the
you
bench.
have more heating packs on your legs than minutes played,
That's a problem.
it's time to retire. But I was trying to be such a professional, B, I wanted to stay ready. I was one of those players like, please call my name. I'm gonna stay ready. Give me a chance to do something. And there was a period during the playoffs after Amari and Boris got suspended for leaving the bench.
You thought you were going to play that next game.
True story. After that game, I was on the treadmill a couple of times that night.
Wow.
Jump rope. Like, I was doing calisthenics. Like, I did the best 24-hour workout somebody could ever do. Like, I'm going to make sure I make this game memorable.
Didn't play.
Didn't play.
I guess the logical follow-up question is, you were a professional athlete. Why didn't you always do that?
You got to be realistic.
How many times did you run into Barkley over a 9-month span going out in the Phoenix area?
I did run into Charles a couple of
I
times,
can't believe
actually.
it.
What a surprise.
Who would have thought?
More athletes that have played for the Phoenix Suns have restaurants downtown than anywhere else in the NBA.
Is that true?
Amari Stoudemire has a restaurant.
Yeah.
Dan Marley.
Robert
It's
Sarver has a restaurant.
It's just a fun fact.
It's called Denny's. Let's look at the Triangle, our sports blog. Why does the Triangle love the Phoenix Suns? I'm sure they have a goofy and ridiculous reason. Secretly, they're every bit as depressing as Philly. Now,
I do not like uniforms that are shirts, tank tops.
well,
Oh!
you know who agrees with you? Eric Bledsoe. Look how unhappy Eric Bledsoe is in that picture.
He like, wow. And
So-
the funny thing is, Caron Butler looks the happiest one, and he got out of there so fast.
Yeah, they were going to trade him. That's right. Don't worry, Karan. Just pose for this picture. We had some follow-up clips here. This is every Phoenix fan finding out that Robert Sarver wasn't going to sell the team. Yeah, he's staying. One more year, Robert Sarver.
Suns owner Robert Sarver. Where's all his buddies?
I'm telling you, he's sitting at the whole row by himself.
You got some empty
Not one
seats.
person? I thought when you're a rich person, you have like 7 people that want to be next to you and follow you around and
I see a
stuff.
few empty seats. Not 4, not 5, not 6.
See, let this be a lesson to all of you. When you own a team and you don't spend money and you ruin it, nobody wants to sit next to you. Just sell the team, Robert. Just sell it. All right, 24-second shot clock time. Let's make some predictions. Go on Phoenix. How bad?
I feel bad for the Phoenix Suns fans because
Me
they have a
too.
terrific fan base. I played my last season there. Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, Sean Marion, Eddie Johnson, Charles Barkley, Kevin Johnson are not walking through that door. Close your eyes and hope these next 2 or 3 years that you could get a top flight player in the draft.
You know, it all goes back to Neil Walk was the pick they got instead of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, then Lou Alcindor. From that moment on, a lot of pain for the Phoenix Suns.
A franchise that has never won an NBA championship.
Yeah, I feel bad for the Suns fans. Hang in there, Phoenix. Come back and check out our number 28 team. Now the suspense builds. Who's going to be number 28? Bill and Jalen's 2013 NBA preview. We'll be back.
Please subscribe. All the other channels have more subscribers than us, and that makes us sad. Watch the Grantland channel. Much easier than reading Grantland.